On this episode, we journey 17 hours westward toward the Black Hills of South Dakota and Wyoming. Final destination, Devil's Tower. This trip has been on my bucket list for a long time. The last time I visited was in 1996. It was toward the end of the day, and we didn't have a campsite yet, so we couldn't stay long. As we drove away, I'll never forget seeing the tower in the distance behind us through the back glass window. Then there was Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and that iconic mashed potato scene. If you know, you know. If you don't, just watch the movie. It has become tradition for me to do that at all family gatherings. And no alien mothership was seen. This time. Devil's Tower, located in northeastern Wyoming, stands tall as a monolithic igneous intrusion, captivating visitors with its sheer grandeur and spiritual significance. Needless to say, Devil's Tower leaves a mark on all who see it. One of the most iconic natural wonders, it is also America's first national monument. Rising 1,200 feet above the surrounding landscape, this towering monolith is a sight to behold and a must-see destination for any nature lover. Formed over millions of years by volcanic activity and erosion, Devil's Tower is a geological marvel that has captivated visitors for generations. Its unique shape and stunning beauty make it a true wonder of the natural world. Also known as Bear Lodge Butte, it is considered sacred by the many Native American tribes who have lived in the area for thousands of years. Both the Lakota and the Kiowa tribes have similar lore about the tower and how it got its name. 7 sisters were out late one afternoon picking flowers in a high meadow. It began to grow late and the sun started to get low on the horizon. The sisters decided it was time to return before it got too dark. On their way home, a great bear saw them and began to chase after them. Fearing for their lives, they cried out to the Great Spirit for help. Seeing their plight, the Great Spirit took pity on them. He reached out, and the ground beneath their feet began to rise up into the sky, leaving the bear far below. The great bear was enraged and tried to climb the great stone pillar from all sides, his great claws leaving huge furrows in the stone. For days the bear raged below the sisters, and in despair they cried out to the Great Spirit for deliverance. The Great Spirit came down and took them up into the sky, forever far from the reach of the bear. However, to this day the bear still chases the sisters. Every night the chase begins anew, as the Great Bear chases the 7 sisters across the sky. Some of you may have already guessed where I'm going with this. The Great Bear is the constellation Ursa Major, more commonly known as the Big Dipper. The 7 sisters are known as the constellation Pleiades. Someday, I plan to return here and capture the 7 sisters when they return once again to the top of the tower. I had a special guest on this trip, Chasing the Milk. If you enjoy my type of content, please head over to his channel. I'll leave links to his socials in the description. As has been the case for all of my trips so far, and it seems as though it's my theme, the weather forecast became uncertain right before we left. One of these days my bad luck is going to have to run out, and I'll start catching a break. Anyway, we made it to Devil's Tower after a 17-hour drive. It was rainy and cloudy, but the forecast promised it would clear out. It did, and as golden hour began, we drove into the park to the spot I had picked out earlier and began to set up. Photographing the Milky Way is an art that requires patience, some technical expertise, and an eye for composition. We set up our cameras and hoped for the best. That night was clear of clouds, but not, as we found out quickly, of smoke from the Canadian wildfires. We knew where the Milky Way should be, but couldn't see it. The skies around Devil's Tower are Bortle 2, and we should have had an incredible view. But the smoke had turned them into a Bortle 5. Finally, after midnight, the Milky Way rose up out of the smoke, and we were able to see it. By then, however, the long hours had caught up with me, and I was forced to abandon the quest and sleep. The next day was clear and free of smoke and haze. Too bad the forecasts were going to be wrong, though. Just after we set up and were settling in for what appeared to be the holy grail of nights for astrophotography, clouds began to move in from the southwest. In spite of the clouds, I kept my time lapses running in hopes it would clear out, leading to moments of pure magic and fun.
Beam, because the beam is so visible.
You just shine it back up. And then turn it off. Do Morse code, see if we So
I wonder if they can see. I wonder if they can see the beam.
Oh no, they for sure can. It's probably bigger for them. That's super cool. Flash it back at him. Flash it back at him.
Ultimately, we ended up closing down and headed back to the trailer. Later, when reviewing the footage from that night, I could see the Milky Way peeking through in clear spots to the east of the tower. Had the clouds not been there, it would have been incredible to see. Thankfully, though, our cameras could see what our eyes could not on night 1. So, combining the stars captured on night 1 with the clear view of the tower on night 2, I was able to salvage this image. Chasing the Milk did the same with the data he had collected. I think we ended up pulling something great out of disaster with this trip. With a long drive ahead of us, we headed home the following morning. Stay tuned. The next journey is out of the planning stages and just waiting on good weather. Until then, thanks for watching and keep your head in the clouds.